Welcome to Four Real Watchers Radio Show, worldwide live, with the best experts as guests. And with your hosts, Jerry Dean and Brett Warner. Expect bone-chilling and heart-pounding stories of paranormal, ufology, supernatural stories, and breathtaking encounter after encounter. Join us as we dive into the abyss of the unknown. Every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central and 9 p.m. Eastern, right here on the best paranormal network, Paranormal King Network. Dead between your eyes, pulling no punches. We'll see you on the other side. Be prepared for anything. Weak hearts dare not enter. Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday, and welcome to another edition of Four Real Watchers Radio Show, coming at you live every Friday night, 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. I am your host, Brett.
And I'm your other host, Jerry Dean, and we got an amazing show for you tonight. We brought a paranormal group. Greg, you want to tell them all about it?
Yeah, sure is. Something special tonight. We have a paranormal group out of Cincinnati, Ohio, goes by the name of Paranormal Knights. So we're looking forward to having them on our show tonight. A group of 4 individuals, although we only have 2 tonight. Greg and Noah is on the line tonight. You guys there with us tonight?
Yes, sir. Right here, bud.
Hey, how y'all doing up there? Up northern Ohio, or what? You Cincinnati, so that's kind of southern Ohio, isn't it?
That it is. Yeah.
Yeah. How's the weather up there? Right. You guys got snow up there, or what? Warming up there as well?
No snow right now, but it's not quite jacket off just yet.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us tonight. So, we'll start off with this. Like I said, you're in a group of 4 up there, correct? Only 2 of you with us tonight. Tell us a little bit about your group. Greg, you go ahead, and then Noah can finish us out. Just tell us a little bit about yourself, your group, and what you guys are into up there.
Well, we all kind of came together through different circumstances over the years, and our main priority is to try to help our client as best as possible. There's a lot of people that are out there for fortune and fame, and our interest is making sure our client can deal with whatever they're dealing with.
So, yeah, exactly. You know, it's funny you mention that. It seems that me and Jerry bring that up every time. You're probably talking about ghost hunters out there, not actually paranormal investigators. Seems like every day that goes by, there's more and more people out there looking for fortune and fame, and not really, into the real things out there.
Yeah, there's a few of them.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2.
Man, I think we've seen it in the past. Couple people watch a show on TV, and then 10 minutes later, they got a camera out there in their hand out walking around graveyards. So
I ever catch Scooby-Doo and them meddling kids, I'm going to tell them, get in their little van and go home. Y'all ain't professionals, all right? You just get out of here, let us pros do it.
Around graveyards. I don't know about that, man. From what I remember, they were pretty good at getting rid of, do a variety.
They kind of been around. They were around for all of us, though, weren't they?
Yeah, they were.
TV show. Oh man.
Well, I'll tell you, I might keep Velma around for a little while, but that's another story.
Yeah, definitely. Well, I don't know. Well, they never did run into a ghost, though, did they? Everything was debunked, wasn't it?
Everybody was in a mask.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they're the masters of it for sure. So, yeah. But anyway, so yeah, go on, dear Greg. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine. No, we came together as a team over the years. We've had different iterations of the format and what you see before us today. But our goal has always been to help our client and make sure that they're comfortable with whatever the situation, whether it's paranormal or not paranormal. We help them find the answer the best we can and deal with whatever the circumstance it is.
Gotcha. And what's your actual role, Greg? You are the lead of the team, is that right? No offense to Noah there, but I'm just trying to figure out who's who.
With all honesty, I think we're all equals. I don't really look at any of us above the other. Noah and I usually are the ones that kind of do a little more of the proactive roles, but that's just a matter of circumstance. I don't downplay any other member for any reason at all.
Got it. Great. Now, so Noah, what's your story? What do you do in the team? How long you been into this?
Since way before it was ever on TV. I
I
got
hear you.
as a toddler and have never left it. And a few people have heard the story that brought me in. It is what it is. But I've been in this to help people. That's it. That's my goal. I'm able to do what I can do, and if it can bring some safety and sanctity and sanity back to a family or people around that family or location, then that's what I was put there for.
Yeah,
I
that's
love
awesome.
your style, brother. Love
Yeah.
your style.
That's awesome. Now, I know we got two of you on the show. Go ahead real quick. One of you tell us who's your other two members that aren't with us tonight, and what are their roles?
Well, we have Garrett, who is kind of one of our helpful co-founders.
Garrett.
He's pretty much our home inspector guy. If you want to be down to the meats and potatoes of it, he looks into all the electronical, all the constructional aspects of the property to help eliminate any possibility of that creating paranormal activity or what's perceived as paranormal activity, to find evidence for our client to prove or debunk what's going on.
Nice. Okay.
We also have Anthony Roberts, former Marine, well, always a Marine, but he is probably one of our spiritual leaders on the team.
Okay.
One of our newest members. He helps keep us focused when we lose focus or whatever in that aspect, and definitely handles that a little bit with our clients, probably partially the best.
I got you. And how's the actual? Like I said, I'm originally from Ohio, but Northern Ohio. Is Cincinnati known to be haunted for the most part? Is a good city, or just you do mostly private locations or business?
We do quite a bit of both, honestly. Mostly, we keep everything with our clients' confidentiality. If they allow us to release information, we put it on our YouTube channel, because we're not trying to get rich or famous or anything like that. Unless it's something very, very convincing or compelling evidence that we want to share, we'll lobby with our client that we need to share.
Right.
But primarily, we keep it between them, because it's their life. They don't necessarily want Tim, the neighbor, or John, the police officer, to be involved in what's going on. So,
right.
As
far as names and locations, yeah, I can understand that. But yeah, so how many? I mean, so you do mostly private locations, though, for the most part. They just call you up and tell you they got an issue going on, huh?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If it's been a public locale, I mean, we've handled plenty, but most of those sign a good old NDA, and that's that. The information shared with them, we can help deal with the issue or just help inform them of what's going on, and then it's never talked about with anybody else.
That's cool.
Well, hey, Greg, let me ask you something while I got you here real quick. I'm going to break in. What exactly do y'all do as far as a questionnaire? I know what my teams have done through the years. What kind of questions do you ask for anybody in our audience that's listening right now? If they're interested in having help to prepare them, what kind of questions would a professional paranormal investigating team ask them over the phone, like a pre-screening before you actually met them? And do you actually meet them, or do you make phone calls? I've always made the phone call, return their call first, and then, ask all the qualifying questions. What are some of them questions you guys might ask?
Well, we definitely go the telephone route, especially in today's world, with the wonderful world of COVID. What do you want to call it? But yeah, we definitely talk to them over the phone. Some of the things we basically like to let them explain to us what's going on, and usually in just someone talking and telling about their experience, if there's someone that's pulling your leg or trying to pull a fast one on you, it's going to come out. There's going to be repeating or confusing of things they've already said, etc. So we do a good filling out process. Mainly, we want to hear how it's bothering them and how it's affecting them. And unfortunately, it's not always a bad thing in the case, but there are some times where every phone call we get, Satan himself is on the doorstep, ready to bring fire and hell and brimstone down upon their home. And turns out that there could be something simple as just a EMF field that's being overgenerated by their heating and air conditioning unit that's affecting everybody. So we definitely try to let them explain everything, ask questions pertaining to the environment, their situation, and just try to find out if they're being legitimate Some people are completely innocent and believing everything that's going on, and it turns out to be nothing. Or there are some cases that are very, very active, and it's kind of hard to discern those. We like to help our client understand, even if it's something not paranormal, of what's going on. So we've been on a few locations where people have tried to pull the wool over our eyes, hiding speakers in the walls, other stuff.
Oh yeah, you get some of them.
So it's fun sometimes. It's entertaining, but we definitely try to help everybody as best we can.
Have a quick question for you, both Greg and Noah, in the chat room, which Ohio's noted for that. The Ohio State Reformatory. Ever been there? Or any real notable haunted places that everybody would be aware of?
We've been, or Greg or myself, we've been to dang near all the notable places. And there are some that are notable for reason, and there are some that are notable because they know how to commercialize access to their facility.
Sure. Sure.
But we've been to the reformatory, and that was a hell of an experience.
Really, one of your better ones, huh? Found some stuff, huh?
Yeah, I liked it there, and that's not what some people would be saying. But if we have a purpose and we're there to serve that purpose, that's a location that'll give to you everything that you ask it to if you're doing things right.
Yeah, that's I've been to Mansfield a couple times, being up in Toledo. Ohio's definitely got its fair share of haunted locations, but I don't know, dive into that. What is the most haunted place that, in your opinion, that you guys have been to? Actual evidence found.
You talking privately or publicly?
Publicly. I mean, where everybody else would be aware of. If I ever go to Ohio, the Reformatory or Put-in-Bay or any of those places up there, what would you call the most haunted area?
No, your ex-wife's house, something like that. Hey, do me a favor, guys. That you're in, let's do a sound check. I'm getting a buzzing every time y'all speak in Cincinnati. There was this WKRP or something, I don't know, but we need to get that straight because when we put this on our network coming up, we always put it up. This whole buzzing thing ain't gonna edit out right. So check your volume, check your reverb, anything and everything you got going on at that end, because it ain't happening with Brett. Is it happening with me? Y'all check me right now. Is it happening?
No, we're hearing you good.
Yeah, I don't hear any buzzing.
Loud and clean on this end, bud.
You ain't hear buzzing when they talk, brother?
No, it's a little bit of, no, not really what I call buzzing. No.
Okay, maybe it's Big Brother listening in. All right, Biden ministers, you better just quit listening in on this. Done it. You know they're listening. You know they are. Bunch of aliens.
Wow.
Or I should say demons. Democrats. No, Lord, okay, we're not getting political here. I apologize. All right, onward and upward. What's your wicked story, man? Y'all tell us curl and toenail kind of stories. Let's hear it.
Well, I'll let Noah tell a good one he was on in Michigan.
Oh, Michigan, okay.
All right, well, I mean, there's Ohio-based stuff, but there was one in Michigan that definitely got some attention. Probably another one that's going to end up a crappy movie someday. There's NDAs, so I'm going to change up some names, but some people have even heard this one. I was there with a pretty well-known padre or father that has since passed, unfortunately. And so if that gives it away to some people, then yeah, that's the one we're talking about. But I was at this location that at the end of this story, there's a passed away family member, a passed away police officer, and a lot of stories don't get believed. It all started with a Ouija board. So if anybody on here likes to play with those or knows somebody that plays with them, please understand that my name is Noah and I'm calling you an idiot. And you don't know what you're doing, and you shouldn't be playing with them, and they're not toys. So
that's
now they on that soapbox. I mean, this location had the stuff out of the horror movies. The stuff that doesn't happen. The stuff that unless you've seen it, been around it, felt it, tasted it, there's no way it's real. We're talking blood from the mirrors, me getting dragged to the bottom of a pool.
Wow.
Hose wrapped around my neck. So the Padre dumping holy water into it to get me out. So, I mean, we can go scientific or religious based, but we've got stories of all sorts. And I just bring that one up because it was one of the more profound that can be attention getting.
So what happened? You getting drugged to the bottom of a pool? That sounds pretty intense to me.
Well, I'm one of the guys that does the stuff that you absolutely are not allowed to do and shouldn't be doing. And my team and the people that I work with know that. And I'm not a challenger. You don't hear me trying to piss something off.
Oh, okay.
But my purpose there is to get to the bottom of it. And, you know, different people consider putting themselves in harm's way to mean different things, and I don't. If your purpose is to be in harm's way, then follow it. And that pool had taken the life of a family member, or that was the report. And the circumstances behind it were questioned by a lot. And at this point, I'm pretty sure you guys probably know where I'm talking about. I just can't say it.
Yeah.
But myself and the Padre that were there, I was the one that took the, you could call it challenge. You could call me an idiot for doing it, and I would own up to it. But I got in. I'm a pretty strong swimmer, and I let the challenge be made. And it definitely tried to win.
So you got in the pool, and you were
Coach wrapped around my neck, me to the bottom, and took a minute to get back up. It was not super pleasant, but we were not at all done, and we kept going that night.
Mm-mm-mm.
Well, that's crazy. So yeah, not to interrupt on anything, but 2 questions in the chat for you. So, both of you, what is the best evidence that you guys captured? What are you well known for? Has there been any great stuff that has raised eyebrows?
Yeah, there's been a few that have raised eyebrows. There's one that made its way around the good old interwebs, and I apologize. I am not the one that's good with social media or any of the stuff that makes it out there. That's Greg's department.
Jerry can relate to that. Yeah.
Yeah. I can relate to that one. I got my tech man. Brett takes care of all that for me. I'm just a pretty boy on the radio. I got the face for radio, so that's what I do.
I'm right there with you, brother. I'm right there.
I hear you. But I'm a daring son of a gun too. I'd have gotten that pool. I mean it.
There's a picture that was taken in Chillicothe that was done with one of the fast shutter speed cams.
Chillicothe, okay, that's up in my area.
Took a couple pictures of me that I didn't know were being taken, and for lack of a better way to say it, the Reaper that was chilling behind me, and it's about as clear as you can get. This picture actually made it through the ranks, and had to be proven that it wasn't. It's so real that it's one that people call fake, and now, that one's actually made it into a couple people's lists of top 10s.
Now, Noah, you guys post yourself on your own site, or where can people find these pictures? Do you have them posted somewhere? Where can people get a hold of you?
No, Greg gets that posted. He's got a lot of videos. Some of our stuff, some of the information has gone corrupt over the years. As you guys know, this information doesn't like to be known. So it's amazing how hard drives can just delete themselves and information can go missing. But he has a lot of videos and a lot of pictures up on the paranormalnights.com that Greg has set up. And you can always contact him through Facebook. And he's got stuff for a good 15 years. Most of it's still up there.
Okay, you want to tell our listeners that are in chat room and also all over the world, where can they find you?
You can go to our website at paranormal-nights, NIGHTS.com. We've got all kinds of things listed on there, evidence videos, some videos that we've been partaking in with a documentary here in Ohio, listed on there as well. There's also a contact form you can get a hold of us. Check out some pictures, our YouTube channel, Facebook. All our links are listed there.
Okay, outstanding.
So another real quick question here. Somebody had it in the chat room right there in, I believe it's in Cincinnati, the, what is it, the Sedumsville Rectory? Have you guys ever went through Rectory? There? Yep.
Haven't been there yet.
Okay.
It got pretty commercialized really quickly. That's kind of where we've left that with that.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's a pretty famous place for that, but was curious. So yeah, thanks for answering that. Um,
Not at
so
all to say that we wouldn't want to go, but we've never been about paying to go somewhere. Like, we're there to help, and I understand that these places got to make money. It's not that I don't respect it, but we're not paying to go somewhere. We also
Right.
don't ask to be paid. We're there to help, and
You're
that's
there
what
to
that
help.
goes down to.
Well, that's a true paranormal team. You know, the ones that are actually paying to get somewhere, they're just looking for chills and thrills, the majority of them. So I respect you guys. Brett's like that. So am I. You know, I've never charged. Brett ain't never charged. And as far as, to me, it's kind of like calling an exterminator. He's a professional, you know, and when they call people like us, not Ghostbusters, but paranormal investigators, spiritualists, you know, mediums, psychics, whatever, that's something we're here to be a blessing. We're here to bless, not to bleed, so to speak. Uh, Many families I've helped through the years, you know, number one, they probably didn't have it. If they, you know, even if they had it to pay, I wouldn't ask. But I was there to help that family. And we like to say this over our shows to any of y'all that are out there just doing this for kicks and giggles. Please take us professionals. Want you to get out of it because you're giving us a bad name. You are hurting families. You're not helping them. And you walk into a house, you're stirring up a hornet's nest, and that family is the one who suffers the repercussions. So get your heads out of your keisters and get into another profession. Even if this is a hobby, find another one. Leave it to the professionals that are here to help people, not get rich or famous. We're here to help. And I appreciate you guys because me and Brett, we feel the same way, brother.
I second every word of that, bud.
yeah, you made a comment earlier, and me and Jerry's mentioned it 5-10 times about Ouija boards.
Mm-hmm.
There's no use for them. I've got no. Yeah, I don't even look at them. I mean, for those who like to use them or think they're special in using them, sooner or later. But yeah, on that note, anyway. So yeah, so what do you got planned for the future, y'all? Anything up and coming, or just? I know we've been going through some really cold weather. I know COVID-19's upon us. So you actually been in some residential areas lately, or anything planned going forward?
We've been in a few throughout the pandemic. It's been kind of a challenge. Some people sit on different sides of the fences of what's going on with it, so it's been an issue itself sometimes when it comes down to doing an investigation. People worry a lot about that sometimes over what may or may not be happening in their home.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good to know. I know a lot of people have been set back because of COVID. Actually, some have pretty much closed shop. They haven't done anything in months. So, yeah, I don't know. It's like almost spirits have taken a vacation as well. So, for those listening in the chat, I know every group does it different. Walk us through here. So if I was to call you, says I think I have a spirit in the house, how do you guys proceed? Do you guys like do historical checkups on the house, or do you immediately go talk to the family, or what kind of equipment do you use?
Well, we're a little bit of old school and a little bit of new school, so we're kind of a mixture of all of it. We talk to our client, we try to get a good understanding of what they're experiencing. Garrett, who is kind of our historian on the team, he does a lot of the research as best as possible into the property to find out if there's anything linked to, possible cause of activity. We come in, we do a generalized walkthrough. Noah, we usually keep him as our fail-safe. We don't usually tell him too much of what's going on about the investigation or the claims till we get there. And then he can pick up on stuff, so that kind of helps validate experiences of what's going on. Yeah, we use all kinds of equipment from the SD11 7-box, Spirit Box, Ovulus, digital recorders, analog recorders. Nothing can beat the good old personalized investigator. That's the top part. We can document a lot of things, with equipment from temperature to EMF, but nothing can measure what the human body can on the scale that we can perceive it.
That's true, yeah. And so it's kind of funny you said that. People think I'm weird even to this day. I still use an analog recorder. So,
absolutely.
Like, what do you got that for? I was like, I'm not going to explain it. It's old school, and I trust it 100%. So, but yeah.
But you're still weird though, Brett. You got to admit it.
Oh yeah, I'm very weird.
Come on now. I wouldn't love you, man. You wouldn't. No way. I wouldn't hang out with you, bro. Because I'm weird. Got to be a little weird to be in this, right?
And
Just
I
kidding.
love the digital recorders too. They're coming out with some cool stuff anymore. I tell you, it's
For sure.
Paranormal's dream out there with the Ovilus. Man, I didn't even have that kind of stuff when I started, but
Yeah, the
yeah.
office is bad to the bone.
What do you guys think of that? I mean, I've seen it. I've never actually used one. I mean, it's kind of, I just the theory behind it, what it does, forming words from spiritual energy. I guess I just can't grasp the technology behind it.
Well, it's kind of like ghost texting, man. You're like in a room and all of a sudden they're talking to you, but they're texting you. It's like, all right, keep it clean and no selfies, basically.
That's what
But
I'm
no,
thinking.
I've used them in a lot of our TV show clippings where we're doing. We did filming in New Orleans and we used them and we got all kinds of neat little text messages. But man, they're pretty awesome.
So we got the Ovilus 3 was the first iteration that we got our hands on. And I did some testing, and when I acquired the device, just about a week, maybe 2 weeks before I got the device, at the end of my road, there was an accident. So as just a little way to test, I take the device out there, and I'm just walking around asking some questions, kind of get a feel to see if it's going to pick up on anything, if there's anything there, if I can validate the purpose of this device or anything else. And during my questions, I asked if there was a person involved in an accident. It confirmed yes and gave me the name Paul. And I asked, if it could give me details about the accident, and it said Rabbit. That was the only two things that I got out of the entire session that I performed. So when I finally got the news clipping pulled up of what actually happened at the end of my road, there was a guy named Paul who was on one of those Rabbit scooters who unfortunately was trying to cross the road and got hit by a truck, knocked into the other lane, and it hit him and killed him.
So let me ask you here. This is where I'm confused. So, how you answer this question, I'm just curious. So do you believe that was Paul there that was actually speaking? That's kind of where I get a little...
I think it could have been.
Okay.
I think it definitely could have been, Paul coming through, giving us his name and telling us, some details about what happened. It kind of correlates, with the experience and what happened with, those scooters. People call them everything from rascals to rabbits to everything.
Yeah.
So, you can kind of draw your own conclusion to that. Now, what we like to do when we're doing a full-on investigation is we like to correlate all the evidence before we say this is something we're going to go with 100%.
Right.
So we have, any audio recordings, any historical information, anything that can back up stuff coming across that device or electronic voice phenomenon or anything like that to help correlate the evidence. We present it to the client and allow them to determine for themselves. We can give them our opinion, but unfortunately, there are no experts of the paranormal. There are experts in the paranormal. You have video and audio experts and everything like that, but there is no paranormal expert, and there never will be. There's one. There's the Almighty. He's about it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you, and it's kind of funny, there are no actual experts, because we've never been there, we've never seen it. I can't, answer all the questions. But a real quick question in chat. You said you do use SB7s, right, on your investigations, or rather
SB7, and we're using the SB11 currently.
All right, good. And there's another question. Do you believe the FLIR camera gives you the best chance to capture evidence, or I guess I could ask any kind of thermal imaging?
It does. There is a learning curve to it because you have to, depending on the model you have, some of them have an ability to take an actual picture and a thermal picture and marry those two together so you can identify objects in the room a little easier. Like the model that we have, I can't remember the model off the top of my head, but it has dual cameras to take those pictures to allow you to help identify things in the room.
So you actually have a thermal camera then? I mean,
yes.
Okay. What do you think of the FLIRs? I know those are really hot right now. Personally, I've never picked one up, but it has crossed my mind. I don't know if you've ever used them before, if they're even worth it.
They are. The the model we have, all it does is take pictures. So there's no video function to it or anything like that. If we record video with it, we do it with an external camera or a phone or something of that nature to capture what's being seen on the screen.
Yeah.
It definitely can give you temperature variations, to help pick up on things. The big thing with every ghost story you've ever heard from, the beginning of time, I felt a chill in the room or it got really hot. That's an effect on the electromagnetic atmosphere, the field in that area being affected. So
Right.
if a spirit is trying to form, it can cause either heat or cold temperature fluctuations in that area. FLIR is a great thing to help document that. If Noah's in the corner and says, "Hey, Greg, I feel something cold on my left side," we can document temperature change from each side of his body to help validate that experience, to help provide as evidence for our client.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. Not good. Yeah, that's nice. Basically residential, and it sounds like you guys use a lot of equipment on your investigations. You said a lot of places you go into, you were able to debunk.
We've debunked some things before.
Because you mentioned people putting speakers in their walls, and I was like, wow, okay.
Yeah, that definitely happened.
We've had some people do that just from hiding it as a home theater experience, but use that to manipulate our experience there with them to try to catch that. So it's not like it was, oh, well, Greg and Noah's coming, let's put speakers in the wall and hide it that way. It was definitely use of current things to manipulate the experience.
Nice.
We had a little old lady a few years back. She was around 75, 76 or so, who called us completely terrified. She had everything under the sun. Satan was on her bed every night ready to take her soul. So we go there. We're there all night. It's quiet as a church mouse. Not a thing going on, period. One of our guys went to the restroom and noticed that the bathroom cabinet was open. His wife is a pharmacist tech. Took some look at some of her medications, found out that the medication she was taking was counteracting each other, causing hallucinations, and over a long period of time, could have killed her. So we were able to, tell her to go to the doctor. It missed her pharmacist. It missed her doctor. Those medications counteracting each other. We were able to save her life.
Beautiful.
That's awesome. I have a quick question here from Rick. And I know this is kind of hard to decipher, but do you believe you've had any demonic cases in all the places you've been?
Yeah, we've definitely run into one or two.
Okay.
One of the most crazy places is in a private residence in Morrow, Ohio. It's a place we usually don't like to talk to about too much because usually when we do, things start happening again. I did send you guys some pictures from that location. We've been trying to debunk those pictures for the last 12 or 10 years, and almost 10 years, and we can't debunk it. The experiences we had, a car starting by itself without a remote start with keys inside the home on the table, from scratches, from stuff being moved, shadows. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff that affected us before, during, and after our location attempt there.
That's crazy. Nothing, as far as nothing physical though. It's mostly evidence, pictures, things, moving on their own.
No,
there was physical things from that.
Really? For those listening in and in chat, for those interested, me and Jerry does have American Alert Guardians on YouTube. For those interested in seeing those pictures and the evidence collected, be sure to check that out. You can usually get the video of this segment up within 24 hours, and we'll be sure to post the pictures during the video. So I thought I'd throw that out there. Jerry, what do you think?
I think that's pretty awesome. I was going to ask you, as far as I know, it sounds like y'all are using state-of-the-art equipment, but a lot of teams you were talking about were old school too. My old school was the fact that you have mediums, psychics, or you have people that can discern spirits. Do you have anybody like that in your group that has the spiritual gifts?
That is going to be Mr. Maisel right here. He is able to pick up on things. In fact, he actually picked up on something pretty recently on an investigation that kind of ties to a Will Ferrell movie in a way.
Oh, do tell.
Got to hear that. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, Noah.
Well,
No wonder he's got gifts. His name's Noah. I mean, come on, that's kind of a giveaway. All right,
Well,
Noah.
It's also a biblical story since you brought that part into it.
Oh yeah.
Let's get biblical. Let's do this.
although you don't find me using the terms, and that's not me looking for a secret pat on the back. I just, people do what they do, and it seems as though I'm good at finding bad stuff or unique energy signatures. And so the place that he's talking about in particular, what happened, and there's just no appropriate way to say this, but everything that I could pick up on, everything that was leaning me towards something, was laughingly the guy that had passed away was not happy that his boats and hose were hiding. So that's the reference. I'm not, and why this gets so funny is that, so in digging through an almost hoarder's basement and in digging through the closets, I found his 40, 50-year-old models of pirate ships and his porn stash.
Oh, okay.
That his wife didn't know about. So I keep getting this thing about boats and hose, and I end up finding his boats and his hose.
Oh
And
my God.
from her report, even to months and months after, everything in that house changed for the better. He wanted them. He wanted them unburied, and he actually wanted that shared with his wife in a humorous way.
That's like Blackbeard, meets Hustler or something. Good Lord, man, that's
Pretty
funny.
much.
No
And
kidding.
I mean, on the total other side of this, you guys are talking about old school, no equipment at all. Well, I'll give you the quick version of one. And we were with a whole team for this. And we had all the equipment in the world. You name it. Night vision, FLIR. Our whole team had the house wired up. And to skip a section of this, there's a couple of members of a family that thought that was it. They're living in the Amityville house. It's the worst of the worst. And there's one kid in the house that called everybody else nuts. And at the end of the night, I'm going to skip about 3 hours of this story. I apologize, but the reason I'm skipping is because what we found out and I'm a big guy crawling under the house, we found out that there was a sewage leak in this home. And it was their sump pump system had backed up and flooded and then flooded again. And they had no idea. The whole entire family, except for the one kid that had a room that was structurally built separate from the home, surrounded by brick, so he literally wasn't breathing it. The family was suffering from methane poisoning.
Oh, good Lord.
None of our equipment meant a thing. And we find this out, and they absolutely were. That house was on the verge of blowing up, and everyone in there was hallucinating.
Oh my God.
That's amazing. Similar story here. Again, old school. I don't know. Maybe I'll do it now, but I always carried a carbon monoxide detector with me. And of all the years I've been doing this, one really sticks to mind. So where I turned this thing on, and within 5 minutes it was going off like crazy. And so I can relate to that. I showed it to the residents, and they got their own meter and got them out of there quick. So. And exposure to carbon monoxide, at the time I thought it would kill you, but apparently it can cause other issues as well.
Yeah, just like EMF, it affects each person differently.
Yep. Yeah, if you're exposed to it over a long time, sure.
Dizziness, it causes dizziness, vomiting, nausea, it causes hallucinations. But hey, let that be a lesson that you listeners out there, get you a good paranormal investigator and a good plumber. There you go.
For sure. Yeah.
That's my advice for the night.
There you go. And everybody, on a safety note here, everybody should have a carbon monoxide detector in your home if you don't.
Absolutely.
So
I've got one.
Whether you think you're on it or not, buy one. They're $10. So
Yeah, it's better safe than sorry.
Yep. But on that note, so I think I asked you earlier. So you guys got anything good coming up here, or anything going into 2021? I know we're still locked down via COVID. I don't really know where Ohio is on that. Some states are opening up, others aren't. But Um, any great areas you plan on attending here soon?
Well, nothing publicly that we're aware of or have scheduled. Um, we have had a couple requests for some local investigations that we may get going here soon. All depends on availability for the client and for us. So we try to make things work out for everybody.
That's cool. And I know I when you first gave it to me, your website, I was looking briefly at it. You guys have events here and there, or enlighten me on that. What is that exactly?
So before COVID rolled its ugly face into town, we had to take a little break for some personal reasons. That's mainly me. But before that, we would hold public investigations at a few locations that we use to train our own investigators. These locations have paranormal activity, and they also have reasonable explanations of electric and everything else. So we use these locations to help train our investigators when they're new to our team to debunk things and also to help find rational evidence. So we hold public investigations there from time to time. We also used to go to libraries and hold public demonstrations showing our evidence, Q&A sessions, talk to people about the paranormal, try to, answer any questions that we possibly could. There's a lot of things that people have questions about that if you look on Google, you're going to find 10,000 different answers to what does why mean. So we try to do our best to, be publicly available to everybody who has a question, answer and help however we can.
Yeah, I think that's great. And that reminds me of something I did years and years and years ago. And I'm actually surprised it doesn't exist. Now, don't get me wrong. It's not like you're going to go to college or I guess I don't know if they got parapsychology stuff out there, but there's, like you said earlier, there are no experts in this field. But I remember going back years ago, there used to be actual classes per se of, leading paranormal experts. I mean, everything's online now, but back in the day, they used to have, you get this little cheesy certificate saying you attended and you are now a paranormal investigator, but it was like a 3-day workshop. I remember those days. And I'm surprised I don't see that anywhere anymore. But
there's a few still hanging around, especially around us. There's a few.
Yeah, I actually even got one, a little card, paranormal. I was like, I was so proud of that thing at the time. But real quick question here. In the chat room, do you watch any of the current TV shows, paranormal TV shows, or any that you can recommend that you think are the best?
We'll let Greg talk first.
All right. So one thing we got to keep in mind is with television, there is reason they're on television. They have to have ratings to stay on there.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have ratings. They don't have a show. They don't reach people to help raise awareness or whatever. So there's multiple good things that some television programs bring, but there's also the bad side to it. The bad side to it is it also inspires some people who think they can just pick up a camera, run outside, and become a professional investigator. And there's a whole lot of things that go into it. Research, learning by experience, learning from others' experience. So many things that a TV show is never going to teach you. It's going to give you information about locations, about people, etc. But hands-on experience is a much different thing. Having said that, I think there's a lot of entertainment value in all the programs out there.
Absolutely.
There's definitely some educational value about the field and about equipment. I have no problem with anything inspiring people's curiosity, who want to learn, who maybe one day want to help. At one point, we were all in the same scenario of, what's going on? What is this? And we go to our local church leaders, we go to our parents, we go to our aunts and uncles and family members, police officers. Hey, this stuff is happening. What's going on? And up until the last few years, we all got looked at like we should be in a mental institution. Bring on the white jacket. Let's get Greg in a padded room, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the good thing about it being on television, it has brought it into mainstream to where people are aware and available to talk to about it, share their experiences along with like UFOs and Bigfoot and stuff like that, who don't feel ridiculed like they used to.
Right.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
hey, it's that time of the show. I'm going to interrupt here real quick. We're going to get to an email, and we can't get to all of them. There's a ton of them. But Amanda James out of Sacramento has got a question for us. California. She's wanting to know, do you guys do actual cleansings?
You know, there's a lot of different terms for cleansing. So to get to the quick answer, yes. However, what we call a cleansing, a lot of different people might have different terms for it. We're going to let the place tell us what it needs, and we will not at all. We are not about disrespecting the owner or the manager of the property at all. But, you know, if they read a book once that had a version of a cleansing, that might not be the cleansing that place needs. And if we're asked and the area will let it happen, then yes. Yes, you said her name is Amanda?
Amanda James.
Amanda James, we would absolutely do that and have done that. However, it's to be handled as the situation needs to be handled.
Right.
And you got to understand that when speaking with us, we walk both sides of it, the theological and the scientific, and we're big believers that all of it can exist inside of itself. So
yeah.
It's not simple to be answered by one side or the other, and you got to know the whole thing if you want to know anything.
Right. Well, let me go a little bit further, and I'm going to elaborate just for myself. Have you guys ever used things like sage, you know, different things to that nature to cleanse the house? Just to get into that.
Got it in my kit right now. There's
There
dowsing rods, there's sage, there's mother of pearl, there's ancient glass, there's Dead Sea salt, and there's fleers, barometric pressure. There's I got blood pressure cuffs. I got baby powder. There's a whole lot of things for a whole lot of reasons in that kit.
Okay. Well,
just kind of go ahead.
Well, let me ask you this. I'm sorry to interrupt. Let's break down, if you wouldn't mind, for the audience of people that are, you know, in ignorance, what's each one of those used for, like the sage, the mother of pearls, the salt. What, phase by phase, what do you use those for, specifically starting with sage and then work down the line? Let's just let everybody know what these are actually used for. Y'all, it's coming from professionals that use this, so don't try to make you a stew out of it, all right? It ain't going to taste good. But anyway, if you wouldn't mind, break that down for us, if you wouldn't mind, brother.
You know, there's different variations of sage can be used for a few things, but to break it down as to primarily how I would use it, it's almost like a ghost pheromone. You're going to wake them up a bit, you're going to get their attention, but it's going to open that door for that conversation and or, shall we say, blunt conversation that might need to happen. It's going to let the area know what you're there for and keep things flowing.
Right.
I think see how I'd explain that. The mother of pearl, a natural, ancient, at least the ones I have, reflective surface that holds nothing but Earth's energy in it. There's a lot of different cultures that have used it for a lot of different reasons, and it's why we have a couple things like that is to respect each culture. And when you look back in history and these different parts of the world have used things like this that never could have talked to each other, but they use them for similar reason, then there's a reason we should have them now.
No, that's true. Absolutely.
Dowsing rods, an ancient way of finding water.
Yep.
But really, that's just tracing energy. And, you know, you could call that scientific, or there's a lot of different things you could use to find that. But, you know, we've gotten answers out of them. We've gotten those things spinning like helicopters before, when we can absolutely prove they're 100% balanced.
Right.
Same thing with a compass. I mean, we've got those things to go ballistic on multiple occasions. Baby powder, and, you know, we used it before I ever saw it in a show. I've gotten prints in that. I've gotten things written in that. I've gotten ancient languages that we had to take pictures of to eventually get translated, written.
Right.
And it's a good way to give whatever's there access to the information that it wants you to have, for good reason or for bad reason.
Okay.
Well,
What
we're
about salt?
salt. Yeah.
Dead Sea salt. I mean, there's almost no religious text on the face of this planet that doesn't have the use of salt somewhere in it.
Right.
And what we can use it for, you use it for a barrier. You use it to write things. You use it to protect people. You can also use it to keep something busy. People will say salt or rice. There's something to that. You get in. I mean, I'm going to jokingly say in OCD, paranormal entity, you want to keep its focus for a while. You throw down a couple thousand grand joules of that or more. That's what they have to do at that point. And now we look at modern day science catching up to where there's science behind salt being a blocking agent for things. How did they know that 5,000 years ago? That's not possible, but yet they did it.
Yeah, they did. They've used it throughout the decades, centuries for protection circles. I mean, it is a protector. I use it for the perimeter of my yard. I mean, a lot of people don't understand. I use it in my egresses after doing a cleansing. I put it on, my egresses above my doorways, my casings. I mean, a lot of people don't understand. I also use anointing oil. But there's these actual serve purposes, y'all. So if you just took notes of all that, don't be scared to use it, because this stuff does work, y'all. We wouldn't bring it on this show. We're not trying to fake nobody. Right. And man, you got a good knowledge and well put there, brother. We sure appreciate that. Once again, can you tell everybody where we can find you at, where they can find you at?
Yeah, you can find us at www.paranormal-nights.com. We're there all the time.
Okay. I know we're going to close this out. We're down to 5 minutes. But before Jerry takes us out, I don't like to leave any stone unturned. So I'm going to field this last question from Shane real quickly. Do you work with any other teams, or do you believe in para-unity in Cincinnati?
We have no problem with working with other people. The problems that ever are perceived as if something is taken out of context or would put someone in danger or something of that nature. But as far as working together, Noah and I created a momentum a couple years ago called the Supernatural and Paranormal University, where we wanted to try to get everybody on the same page, going through stuff to find a dedicated line of investigation work to try to come up with coursework that we could maybe one day say that there are potentially paranormal experts. For everybody, the things about investigation is you may have two teams, both of them have the same type of equipment, but they're different pieces of equipment. So if you have a Swan security system, a DVR system you're using to investigate with versus a Night Owl from Walmart, those devices pick up differently. Their pixelation is differently. So not everything captures evidence the same exact way. If we could get a uniformed way of investigating across the board, we can actually find ways to evolve from that. Well, we can't do that when we have 2,000 different chefs in the kitchen, everybody throwing a different ingredient in. So when you have all those variations, it's really hard to say that there's ever any one group that's going to do things above the other better than anyone else.
That's a good point, too, because the same goes for equipment. Man, do you have any idea how many different kinds of EMF meters are out there? And to be honest with you, they all do different things. I don't think people realize that. Some are what I mean, like electrical EMF compared to this, and I know they detect
single, dual, axle. There's a whole different axis approach there.
Yeah, some recorders and that. But anyways, Jerry, we're about out of time, brother. What do you think? You want to?
Man, time flies, don't it? It's been a great show, Greg. I tell you what, man, we're gonna have to have you guys back on, you and Noah. Like to get the other teammates too, but tell them that we said hi. Like to have them on maybe down the road. But Brett and I talked to Greg prior to the show. I don't know if this is Greg right now or no, but we're looking for talent. For anybody out there listening right now, we're doing interviews. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. We're literally looking for talent. And we are filling our network, which is American Alert Guardian Networks. And it's not just network, it's networks. So we're into all kinds of different things. Later on down the road, we plan to get to TV, a whole lot of big stuff coming. But we're also got a patriotic group. It's called American Alert Guardians. It's on Facebook. This is a patriotic group. We're non-political. We're about taking our country back. We're about loving one another, unity. So if we're going to continue to do paranormal investigating and do what we do in our country, we're going to keep this country free. So we're big into the patriotism of our United States of America, our great country. I'm a war veteran. I'm a combat trained Army veteran. My brother Brett's the same way. This company and this organization and our network is owned by nothing but veterans. So if you want to get involved, go check us out, American Alert Guardians. And also go check us out, American Alert Guardian Networks, where this show and all the previous shows are all up there on our YouTube channel, okay? And that's American Alert Guardian Networks, AAG Networks. Go check us out. We also have a daily show that comes on there. It's called AAG News, bringing you up to date, pull no punches, fact news, dead between your eyes that you can trust. Also, right now, I'm going to offer you guys a chance to submit some more video clippage, and we're going to be looking at you guys for a possible interview to bring you on our show. And if you're out there as listeners, put it in the chat room right now. Tell us you want them on our network, and we'll probably just go ahead and bring them in. But for those of you out there to have your own iPods, your podcast, I'm losing it here, streaming, whatever you're doing, if you got your own channel, if you want to come and send your videos to us and you want to audition basically to be on our network, we're looking for talent. So we've got a lot of shows to fill, a lot more left. We'll have it filled before the end of the month, I think. What do you think, Brett? More likely?
Yeah, we're getting quite a bit with Christy joining it. I mean, great show there. The Power of Three Paranormal just joined us, and yeah, a couple slots left because the editing is a lot of work, and there's only me and Jerry doing it all. So, yeah, spots are limited. If you got something to share, want to get your voices heard, want to see around the world, that's the place to be.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, meanwhile, we're going to wrap this up. It's 9:00, and I wish we could go another hour because we could with you guys. But you guys, don't forget, this is Paranormal King Networks that we've been blessed to be on with my brother Ross. We love Ross. Ross, if you listen, even though you're from Canada, we won't hold that against you. No, I'm just kidding, brother. Us Americans, we love Canada. But yes. Hey, Greg, thank you for coming on. Noah, we sure appreciate you guys. And everybody out there, thank you for tuning in to our radio show. Please tune in next Friday. We'll have another amazing show lined up. And don't forget, coming this month, y'all, March, Andrea Perron from the Conjuring movies will be on. We're going to get deep in that. That'll be probably a 2-hour special, so you get ready for that. But meanwhile, this is Jerry Dean and my brother Brett. We're going to be out of here. Thank you once again to Paranormal Nights. God bless each and every one of you. Keep praying for this country, and God bless your families. We're out of here.
Bye-bye.